Hello and welcome to an honest walkthrough and review of Mass by Nami Audio. Now we're going to be doing this walkthrough and review a little bit different to how I normally do them, simply because it's not every day I get sent a library and end up spending an afternoon writing a track with it. Normally when I get a library or when I download something, I'll quickly check it out, make sure I've wrapped my head around it and make sure it's basically working, and then I'll jump in and do the video. With this one, I couldn't help myself and spent an afternoon writing a track, which I will show you in a moment. But first, let's quickly go through what this library actually is. Well, it's called Mass by Nami Audio, as I already said. It works within the free Contact Player 7, so you won't need the full version of Contact. It's basically a bunch of synths, and the only bass synth you really are ever going to need. It's absolutely crazy. It's got classic analog, digital basses, unique 808 and subs, heavy processed through hardware and pedals. Honestly, it's got this beautiful analog sound to it, and with over 250 ready to use snapshots, we're not going to be able to get through all of them, which is why I'm going to show you the track I composed, run through some of the sounds and how I modified them, and then we'll jump into the plugin and have a little mess around with other bits and bobs. But this will cost you 25 euros, which in all honesty is a great price for this product. 50 euros is the full price. If there's not a sale on it, you can use the code JoeBlogComposer. No, it's just JoeBlog20. There you go, JoeBlog20. I'll leave it on the screen and in the description for 20% off. I am not an affiliate of Nami Audio. I am a huge supporter of them because they create great samples, but I gain nothing financially from saying this library's good. But as always, I like the samples to speak for themselves, so I'll let you be the judge in the end. So yes, low end like never before or never heard. It's bassy. Anyway, let's move into Logic, let's show you the track, and let's jump into the samples. Now, to be completely transparent with you, the only two things I used that wasn't from the library was one, the Logic Pro own mastering assistant, and I did put a funky little thing on Lady Prime over here, which was a little, where is it? Did I put it on it? I definitely did. Here it is. It's a remix effect just for some low cut and a bit of fun there. And then one other thing, I put an arpeggiator on over here as well. But all these things are available free within Logic Pro X, and similar things are probably available in other DAWs. So the only thing paid I actually used, and the only sounds I used, was from that library. And oh boy, were they a lot of fun. Even the drums and percussion, there's a whole percussive section as well, which is a lot of fun. I absolutely love this snare 80 PB right here. This is such a cool little reverby sound. We just solo that for a second and play that back at the beginning. and a great little bass as well. Well, I say bass, nice bit of kick. And then this actually wasn't in the percussion section, that was in the plucked section, a nice little hi-hat as well. Some of the names are super cool as well. There's Play Me Like One of Your French Kicks as well. So let's actually quickly just flick through those. So yeah, right down here at the bottom, drum and percussion, we've got It's a Kick. I think that's what I used. Yep, It's a Kick, which is there. We've got Bitcoin Pluck, which is up here, and then I tightened it up a bit to give us that nice percussive hi-hat sort of sound. And then I literally used out of the box the snare 80 BB, a lot of fun there. And then Play Me Like One of Your Kicks is actually what I used for that. I think that's a drum one. Yeah, it's right there at the bottom. Play Me Like One of Your French Kick, which is this sound here. If we get rid of that, with a little bit of a filter, which is this bit here, which if we click on it, low pass filter, nice thick bassy kick, but I used it a little bit differently there. The Drama Queen lead, one of the first sounds I actually used when I composed this track was this one I found here, and I just couldn't help myself but put it in. It has such an organic and just grit and color, like it just tear your face off electric. And that's just an out of the box sound. And what else have I done? I've used Lady Prime. I say Lady Prime. I'm dyslexic, I'm sorry. Lady Prime, absolutely, again, love this searing lead. There is a whole lead section here. We've got subs, bass, synth, pluck, pad, lead, drums and percussion, and then just the mass one, which you can mess around and change some of the sounds. These sounds, I know we've got 250 presets, but there is so much you can do. You can dive in as deep as you want or as little as you want, I feel, with this library. And I have dived a little bit into it, but I feel I barely scratched the surface of the potential of this library. Lady Prime, I just want to call it Lady Prime now. To me, it's an angry lady, but hey, let's listen to this little main bit I do here. I love this. And you can hear the glide there. One thing I will mention, most if not all of these sounds are monophonic. Now the creator has said go in and sample them and make chords out of them. I kind of wish there was a knob that I could flick and change them from monophonic to polyphonic. It just made my life a little bit easier, but I actually really enjoyed the challenge of just monophonic sounds and having a bit of fun with them and creating something a bit more, I want to say, organic and traditional, although we do have polyphonic synths. You've probably seen my Moog grandmother here. It's monophonic. Sadly, it's currently damaged and I need to put it in for repair. So it's been really refreshing and fun actually jumping into a library like this, having something completely monophonic and accepting that challenge and creating something like this. And now you'll notice there's 3 editions of this patch because I went in, kind of the raw-ish sound is that first one. I then thought, hey, let's create a short line using the same thing. And basically it's the same patch, but just shorter notes. And I love that glide effect there. The way basically just to have the glide is, of course, keep the note hanging over. So if you can see there, that has the glide, but these bits won't. And you have that more punchy sound instead. And then I just wanted something a little bit more, I say, tinny over the top. So I took all the release off, which you can do if we go into this one over here and drag that on screen. You can see I've actually dived into the patch a bit more. I do that simply, well, we're going to go home. I think it was this pure, you click on that there's the release attack, sustain, release. Of course, you can transpose it. You've got 3 layers to mess with and create some very unique sounds. You can transpose them. You've got a low pass filter there. And I think if we actually go into mass, if you click high pass, you can change that to low pass, high pass, anything really. The volume, transpose, you can do tune or transpose there. Mass sounds, you can flick through them, so you can go very deep to change the attack, sustain, decay, release of each layer. Of course, you can turn layers on and off. As I said, there is so much quantity to this library, and as always with Nami Audio, I absolutely love their UIs, how creative they are, and just the animations. It makes them fun to use as well as fun sounds to play with. But what I basically did for this sound, I just took all the release off. That's a long-winded way of saying it, and created this sound with a note repeater on it as well, which is this thing here, just to have a little bit more fun. So overall, I get this really fun lead sound that just tears over the top. But all 3 are from the same patch. Just me diving in and having a little bit of fun with it. What else do we have here? Well, mass, come on, it's called mass. I had to choose mass as my bass because, well, it's just, it had my floor vibrating. Like, if you need bass, this is bass. Honestly, it's crazy. And absolutely love it. And the last thing I want to show you before we actually move into the patch itself and start playing around with some bits and bobs is the noise. I love the fact that they've included this. It's quite literally just a noise patch. You'll find it right at the bottom, I believe, in the drums and percussion. And yeah, there it is, noise. And it really is, it's just, and I think it's a low pass filter on that. Yeah, low pass filter. But of course you can change that to a high pass filter. I've programmed it so that I can do some bits and bobs with that. There's color as well, but you can change that to all different sorts, which we'll dive through into a moment, or you can just simply turn it off and on in the background as well. And of course you can apply some effects to other bits and bobs. Anyway, noise, glad it's there, a lot of fun. I feel like if you don't have a synth, this is your synth. It's perfect. Anyway, let's move into the plugin itself. So this is how it looks when you first open it up. And as you've already seen, we've got the drop down here, nice breakdown, 808 and subs, bass, synth, pluck, pad, lead, drum and percussion, mass. You've got a really nice mix of everything. It's not just bass. You have some, as I've already shown you with the piece, you have some lovely leads and lots of them. There's some lovely pads I've not really dived into much, some plucks that you can have a lot of fun with. So what we're going to do, we're going to take one from each and we'll have a look and a little play with them. So I think we're going to go with Barbershop. As I said before, I absolutely love the names. They have some really fun ones. So out of the box, this is how this patch sounds. We'll then dive into some of the features of this library. And the mod wheel does something different on every patch. This one is specifically controlling the mass there, but beautiful sub, beautiful bass. If you want less grit and more reverb by the looks of it, just turn your mod wheel off. But that's a bass. And if you want more color, you can add color there. We can change what the parameters are there. Currently it's tape. You can change the classic tube pedal, a lo-fi, the amount, the wow as well. We can add some there if we really want. Or some flutter. So you can really go in as far as you want or as little as you want. Effects the same. We have filter types there as well. There's chorus and flange and phase there as well. We can do more compression. You can modify all the settings that your heart desires there. Delay is what it says on the tin. Reverb, there's different types. I really wish there was a spring reverb there, but you've got plenty of choices. Again, you can dive in as little or as much as you want, and I love that fact. But let's move on to the next sound. Let's go for a bass. Let's go for drunk signal. That sounds interesting. And as you can see as well, some of the animations change depending what you have. See, we've got lo-fi currently for this one. If we change that to tape and back out, you'll see that it changes as well. Again, if we go for pedal, it'll change again to something different. I love that. We'll put that back on lo-fi and have a little play with this one, drunk signal. And as we can see, the mod wheel here controls the reverb. That's a interesting effect, and it kind of is what it says on the tin, a drunk signal. Interesting. I think that's probably chorus, yeah, because it makes it nice and wide. Compression. It's definitely one of those libraries where it's worth just diving in, hitting a button or a note, and just experimenting. We've got a nice like little bit of an electric hum there, and you can see here this one is transposed 12 semitones down as well. So there is so much going on in the background, and of course we can go in and modify the ADSR if we really wanted to, the low pass filter. We can even change this to phase drive if we really wanted to. Say we liked a sound but we wanted something a bit different on it. Ooh, that's deep, and then I don't quite like that electric sound. Let's go in here, pure sine. Let's go for and you can see just there how much control you have over the sound. You might like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Oh, I don't quite like that. You can change it, you can go in and modify it. And that's what I love so much about this library. The options are endless. And the amount of times I found myself, especially when I was composing that piece, just creating some weird and wonderful sounds that, you know what, I'm probably never going to be able to recreate that again. So that is super, super cool. Now let's move on. We'll go now into the synths. Let's go for a Celeste key synth, something a little bit different. Beautiful, different. We've had the basses, we've had that. Now we're getting something a little bit more different, a nice key synth. And what I love is the fact that that lovely bit of glide there, or we could just go So you have that option of just straight hitting the next note, or having a nice little bit of glide, which of course we go in and add more or less. I could play with this one for days, and you can see how I just end up diving in and writing a piece with this. Now, that one is a lot of fun. What are we actually... let's... So that's what the sub's doing. So you can see there just the craftsmanship behind these sounds. These 3 different layers create something so unique and beautiful. That's a lot of fun. And the naming is very accurate as well. Now let's move on again. We've looked at a synth. Let's look at a pluck as well. I feel Dahoo pluck. Okay. That's a lot of fun. Yeah, I like that. A bit heavy on the reverb, but we can fix that. And then maybe I want some flange with this. Actually, no, I want chorus. That's what I was thinking. Max. And I don't like the mass. Add a little bit more reverb. Again, I just love the flexibility, the user-friendliness of this library, and the fact that I want a bit of that, I don't want that, and you can really easily go in and make that sound that you got stuck in your head. Right, that is the Who from the Pluck. Let's move into our more paddy sound, Optic Thunder. It's a pad. It's complex. It's beautiful. I could just honestly hit that bottom note and just mess with the mod wheel and keep that going forever and ever. And that's how a pad sound should be. That is cool. That is fun. Again, with this library, I encourage you, if you do buy it, just hit a note and mess with the things that are on there and see what happens. Seriously, this is so cool. Lead. I don't want to do leady prime, or as I call it, lady prime, because I've used that too much. Rusty lead. The hoodie lead. The hoodie lead. Let's do that one. Now that's cool. Now that's a lead. Pure. Let's have a look at some of this ADSR. Actually, I want it a bit more like... Just the raw, uncontrolled, unbridled. I just love playing. It's like a fidget toy, this UI. That's the best way of describing Nami Audio's UIs. It's just the fidget toys. You just want to press and dial and mess around with them. And what do you get from doing that? Just that ripper of a sound. Right, we've got to move on. Leads. Let's do drums and percussion. This is a really fun collection of samples. Again, I absolutely love this one out the box. It's such a nice snare. Of course, you can program these to different CCs as well. Let's put a high pass filter on them. And is that got different effects? Ah, that's why. Again, this is another thing I absolutely love, the fact that you can turn the effects off on certain bits and bobs. There we go. Now we've got that sound I was looking for. Get a bit more. There we go. The ease of tuning this sound to how you want it. The fact that we can go in to so much detail and the resonance and the cutoff. And I'm just going to say it again. I love just how easy it is to either just work on the surface and mess around with what they've done already and what they've assigned to everything, because that's what they feel sounds best. But if you really want to, you can just dive in and just hit the fan with what you want and create, again, some very unique and interesting sounds. And finally, of course, we have the box standard mass, which is kind of just the preset, and you can just go in and do what you want. Ultimately, this is the sweet shop floor. You can go in, pick exactly what you want, mod it how you want. This is just a powerhouse of sounds, 250 presets, and then just endless possibilities. And I can't rave enough about how creative and fun, unique and interesting this library is to just mess with and play with. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.